When people started calling our work high tech when we first started out, we were kind of uneasy about that. We like to think that our work could be distinguished from that by the use of off-the-shelf steel sections fabricated in ways where you could still see the hand of the person making it, so to speak. Not so much like carving, but certainly through the use of the bolts and the welds that we never ground off or tried to hide. So we coined the phrase, I suppose you could say we coined it, and pardon my French, haute tech, to distinguish between us doing possibly, high tech and these predominantly continental architects who were, pursuing something of a much higher level of finish. Well, we've done a couple of duplexes now. In both cases, we acted as well as developers, and they're both interesting in their own ways. The first that we did was 2225 Hyperion. We started out trying to do something architectural that, because we were the client, would be pleasing to us, and we thereby blew the budget out of the water. It attempts to kind of encapsulate a rule that we typically follow in budget buildings, which is to put 90% of the architecture and 10% of the space. That particular project is almost a literal embodiment, diagrammatic embodiment of that rule. Because that one was actually built on a double lot, but it was very steep, so we were only able to use the front part of the lot. So it's basically a block parking garage level, access through the center, and then parking to the sides, and then a two-story volume sitting on top of that with the two units side to side in that. And in that case, the two stories are divided by a floor, with the upper level being sort of a story and a half rather than a double height or single height. And then the 90% of the architecture and 10% of the space zone is on the back side, because it's a very busy street. So it sort of turns a fairly blank wall against the street for sound reasons, with a few punched windows. And then the back wall that faces the back surface that faces the yard is completely glazed and then covered with sunshade louvers, because in fact it turns out it's facing west, and we have the access stair to each unit from the garage and then up into the second floor of the unit, occurring within that zone as well. And then the rest of it is just a big empty volume upstairs, and then downstairs there are three very small bedrooms, divided in fact by sliding doors, so they're more like swing rooms, so that you can make smaller or larger rooms between them.